Premier Chris Minns. Nathan is a proud local and lifelong resident of southwest Sydney and member of Leppington, as well as the government whip. Nathan is also a member of the Committee on Transport and Infrastructure and the Joint Standing Committee on Electoral Matters, as well as the Legislative Review Committee. You also serve as the Deputy Chair of the Legislative Assembly Committee on Transport and Infrastructure. They are massive portfolios, very relevant for all of us out here in Sydney Southwest. So please join me in welcoming Nathan Fragadine.
Good evening, everybody. Obviously, I'd like to start by acknowledging that we gather tonight on the land of the Cabral, and I'd like to acknowledge first Michael Azzi, the board of the Chamber of Commerce, and the amazing work they do. My colleagues, including the Leader of the Opposition, thanks for coming out. I think we've got David's here, David Saliba, Tina Ayad. So it's all class of 2023 guys. So we all got elected together. We all did orientation together, and we're all here tonight. So that's good. And I think we got some councillors. Obviously the mayor, the deputy mayor, and I believe we have the newly elected councillor Zeli Munyiza. This is probably your first chamber event, so welcome to the chamber, and I'm sure. So I won't prove that by going on for 15 minutes, but at least there's something that all my political friends here tonight can agree on, is that I'm a pain in the arse. Yes, thank you. All right. So the theme for tonight is I've been given is innovation and transformation, and obviously. That is a very important theme, given that later this month the first cargo flight will land at Western Sydney Airport, and I think we should give that a round of applause. I think for many people over probably a couple generations, the Western Sydney Airport was a twinkle in people's eye. But it is real. If you've been out there, you'll know how fantastic it is. And I think it's going to be a transformative thing for this region and also for the state economy. When I was first elected to council in 2016, one of the first meetings I took was with the then CEO and the newly appointed chair of WSI Corp. WSI Corp had just been founded. Paul Sullivan, and we got together with his entire corporation, which was 2 other people at that time. We had a look at some photos and some renders, and he spoke about what was going to happen over the next 7 or 8 years. And then earlier this year, we were at the opening of the terminal, and he came up and he tapped me on the shoulder and he goes, "Remember that meeting we had 7 or 8 years ago?" And there we were standing physically in the tangible in that building, and we could look around and we could see an international airport. And we really have seen a dream come alive, and it's going to transform this area in ways that we can't imagine over the years to come. And I did want to concentrate on some of that in my notes tonight. So there's obviously Bradfield next door, and it's called the Aerotropolis, and There's a US academic called John Casada who makes a lot of money going around the world and telling people about aerotropolises and how they work. And in short, the key to an aerotropolis is about connectivity. It's about physical connectivity, obviously the infrastructure into there, and about the soft infrastructure in there. Obviously, this government and the federal government and previous governments have invested quite a lot of money in making sure that we get to that airport. The investment in 15th Avenue, which I mentioned earlier, which is now up to $1.4 billion. There's $1 billion that's gone into Elizabeth Drive, Memray Road. Of course, the metro's coming. And just a couple of weeks ago, we jumped on one of the first buses that are going out there. So there's 5 buses from Penrith, Mount Druitt, Campbelltown, Liverpool. That's 4. There's one other. But there are 5 buses that are going to the airport, and they're important as well, not just because you can get to the airport, but because now you can get to different parts of Western Sydney. People in Narellan can get to Leppington, they can get to Liverpool, people in Liverpool can get to Mount Druitt. And I think that's another part of those connections that are very important. There's also the M12, which I was very excited to open just recently. And when on council, I was very proud, and Tina was on council at the time, where we advocated to ensure that it was toll-free and that there was access, and so was Peter, and that there was access from Elizabeth Drive. And that's the kind of advocacy that councils should do when it comes to building, to ensuring that roads serve their community. It was very important that we make sure that there wasn't an additional toll and that people weren't forced to go on the tolled M7 to get on there. The government is also doing a lot in terms of soft skills and bringing back industry. And recently we announced that out in Bradfield we are going to build a facility for semiconductors. So that'll be the second building that goes in Bradfield, and it'll be one of 13 in the world. So there are 13 of these facilities in the world that produces semiconductors, and we know that this is the way of the future. Everything's got a chip in it now. Everything's everything's connectable. Everything can talk to you and talk back. And when we see data centres, when we see all that technology coming online, we know that semiconductors are a critical part of that future. The other thing I wanted to talk about as well, this is an area where for too long I think government's viewed it as how many people can we fit in here and how many houses can we get in here. And this government's made a deliberate decision to say, how do we build communities here, how do we build economies here, and how do we bring jobs out here. I spoke about the semiconductor facility, but there are also a significant part of significant investment going on in terms of other high-quality jobs. And several of us sit on the community committee for the airport, and Infrastructure New South Wales gave us a really striking statistic at our last meeting. Federal and state governments have invested somewhere in the realm of about $20 billion in terms of infrastructure and the airport alone. And to date, there's been northward of $30 billion in private investment in and around the airport. And I think if you measure that as whether the airport's been a success or not, I think you can say even before that first plane's landed, this has been a success and our community's already benefiting. And of course, there will be more and more investment. The Audi's building out there, they've announced a large facility, and I think every other week there's an announcement about someone sticking a flag out at Bradfield, out in Western Sydney, and saying we want to be part of Bradfield, we want to be part of the airport, we want to be part of Western Sydney, and that will benefit every single person in this room. There's no doubt about that. And then thirdly, the other thing I wanted to mention was just about manufacturing. I think we had seen decisions from previous governments that we couldn't build things here. The previous Premier, Gladys Berejiklian, said we don't build good trains here. We made an announcement a couple of weeks ago where we would start building trains back here again. So for 100 years we built the Red Rattlers, we built the V-sets, we built the Tangaras, and we've announced that back in the Hunter we will start building trains again. And I think that is critically important because industries like trains, industries like cars are apex industries. When you build a train, it's not just about building a train. You need an upholster to do the seats. You need a sparky to do the electronics on it. And there are so many more industries that come out of that, and that means a good thing for everyone in terms of the economy and good jobs. I think the last thing I'll mention is the announcement we made around modular housing. We know that this is an area that is building plenty of houses, and we've got a housing shortage, and we have announced that we will invest with a partner who wants to set up essentially a manufacturing facility for modern modes of construction. So modular housing, if you're into modular housing, anyone who's into modular housing, jump on the website, put your bid in, and I think it's critically important that we see that facility here in Western Sydney. So I've already spoken to the Minister, and I've made our bid to say that facility should be based here. And the reason I mention those three things is because there is a theme to them. Not only are they about investing in jobs, but they're about solving problems, ensuring that our manufacturing capability is rebuilt and continues, about solving the housing crisis, and also making sure that we have sovereign capability when it comes to high-tech industries and high-tech jobs. And so I could go on for the full 15 minutes. I don't know how long I've been going on for. 20? 20. All right. Well, that marks the halfway for my speech as I turn to the next thing. No, but in all seriousness, this is a government that is working with industry, wants to work with industry, and knows how important small businesses are, especially in this part of the world. If you want to, if you've got questions, if you want to have a chat, I'm sure any of the members would be happy. They've got an open door policy. I know I've got an open door policy, especially David Saliba. He loves people, especially 9 o'clock meetings. If you want to meet with David, make sure it's a 9 o'clock meeting. But obviously, congratulations to the Chamber on another successful year, and enjoy the night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nathan, and also to Premier Chris Minns for his video message and the ongoing support for Liverpool Chamber, as well as the Liverpool community, and definitely South West and Western Sydney. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker has built an impressive career across media, business, community leadership, and now politics. Before entering Parliament, Kelly Sloan spent more than 2 decades as an award-winning journalist, broadcaster, covering major national and international events. She later led one of Australia's most recognised not-for-profits, Life Education Australia, helping deliver positive outcomes for young Australians and their families. Today, she serves as the member for Vaucluse, leader of the New South Wales Liberal Party and leader of the opposition in New South Wales. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Kelly Sloan.
I love a bit of good music when you head up on stage. It gives you that energy. Thank you so much, and for that warm introduction and reminding me about my former careers. Someone in the room said they used to watch me on the TV when they were a little kid, and it made me feel very old. Politics also makes you feel very old, but I tell you what, this is my first speech that I've delivered before your chamber. But when I walked in the room, I have to say, it felt like a family here. Lots of familiar faces, and a warmth and an energy that I just think says Liverpool all over. And Michael, that's you. Thank you for bringing together. A big round of applause for Michael. Michael, I just want to acknowledge how hard you work. It's a volunteer role, but your passion and your heart is in it, and you bring these people together, these people that shape the southwest of Sydney, in particular Liverpool, and I just want to acknowledge you. I also want to acknowledge another person who's passionate about Liverpool, and that's Mayor Ned Manoon. Ned, thank you for everything you do for this part of the world. You're sitting next to your better half, of course, my colleague and great friend Tina Ayad. I want to acknowledge Nathan Haggerty, also Dave Saliba. Who else is in the room? Councillors, of course, Di Lee, another passionate advocate for this part of the world, and just say that we are all here because we just love southwestern Sydney. And I've always said that. My first experience in this part of the world was a long time ago when I was a board director, my first board role, on a Liverpool-based charity where these passionate women who'd had a terrible experience with premature babies came together to form this charity and turned it into a national foundation, making extraordinary impact. I saw that in that not-for-profit, and I know that there are not-for-profits in the room that make a difference as well, but I see it in the businesses here. I see it in the innovators and the startups. I see it in the healthcare sector and in the education sector and the university. But most of all, I see it in the everyday people, many of you sitting in this room, who just slog it out day in, day out in your businesses, trying to make a difference. And the Liberal Party that I represent believes in backing you. We don't believe that government drives our economy. It is the people sitting in this room, and we need to back you in because I grew up in a small business family. My husband runs a small business, and I know how hard it is for you at the moment. There are record insolvencies in this state. It is really, really tough. You want to employ people, you want to drive the economy in this part of the world in particular, but it is tough. 14 businesses every day close their doors. We need to make sure you thrive. When you thrive, our economy thrives. And that's one of the reasons that one of the first policies that I announced as leader was that we will reduce payroll tax, we will increase the threshold, and we're going to index both of those so you didn't get caught up in bracket creep again. And New South Wales will be the most competitive state in the country to do business if we have our opportunity, because we believe in you and you need to be successful. We also know that you need to be connected, and everyone I meet in the southwest of Sydney says it's so hard getting everywhere. You have to jump in a car, it's going to be really hard to get to Bradfield. We want to make sure that you're connected, so another pledge that I make to you is that we want to keep building the metros that have built Sydney, and we will announce a metro for southwestern Sydney. So stay tuned for the details on that. We also know that we are being dudded on infrastructure funding from Canberra. Albo's just not investing in New South Wales. He's putting money in Queensland, he's putting money in Victoria, but he's not putting money here. So we know we have to be part of a plan to drive that. And about a decade ago, the Liberals at state and federal level worked on a Western City deal. Now, that deal provided a plan, and we worked together with the people who know where the investment needs to be, and that is our councils like Liverpool Council and about 8 other councils. We will reinstate a brand new Western City plan if we're elected, so that you have a choice. We can say to Canberra, not just cap in hand for money, but this is what we're going to do with it, so you guys can get to your jobs faster and home quicker. The women I meet particularly impress me in this part of the world. They are so sassy and tough. I know that they are often the backbone. Sorry, blokes, I am a big champion of men. I'm a mum of 3 boys. And by the way, we're going to have a minister for men, but the women in this part of the world, they're just a superpower, the untapped potential here. And there is a job deficit. There shouldn't be in southwestern Sydney, and part of the reason the women are telling me is because it's just so hard to get to where the jobs are, and that's mostly in the city and in the east. That should not be the case. It should be in Liverpool and surrounding areas. And I just want you to know that I'm really passionate about that. I'm going to be working with you, whether it's the tourism or the jobs or the industry, to make sure that Liverpool is the new Parramatta. So thank you for having me here tonight. I want to turn up every year. I love this room. Thank you for the work that you do for the community, because the work that you do here pays dividends well beyond the borders of Liverpool. This is about making New South Wales great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Kelly, and for your insights and for joining us this evening. And ladies and gentlemen, our final guest speaker is someone who genuinely understands Liverpool, because Liverpool is home. For years, Ned Manoon has been part of the fabric of this community, not only as a civic leader, but as a local business owner, employer, community advocate, and a proud Liverpool resident. What we all appreciate about you, Ned, is that you understand the challenges and the opportunities that actually face us out here in Sydney Southwest, because you're living this firsthand. You know what it takes to build relationships, you support local jobs, you invest in our community's future. And as Mayor, you're committed to championing all of that. So without further ado, I'm looking forward to your insights and what you see coming for Liverpool.
Yeah, that's the way. It's the NED. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for your very, very warm welcome. And like Kelly, I definitely like some good music coming up, so we should travel more often together. And Kelly, can I say, amazing words. Looking forward to the city deal. Looking forward to the metro from south to southwest Sydney. Do you guys hear that? They're going to announce a metro for southwest Sydney, and make this place, I'm pretty sure, said better than Parramatta, not like Parramatta, but better than Parramatta. I have to admit that I was one of the people that was watching you on TV at the late night news. I always used to get you and Helen Kapelos mixed up early on, right? But you're definitely, so it was there. So it's an amazing career you had, and I look forward to you adding on to your resume Premier of New South Wales onto that as well. To Diley, the hard-working, the voice who represents the Southwest Sydney in the federal parliament and is a true representative of us. Always wonderful to see you here. To Ms. Tina Ayad, who I always need to be very, very nice to, but never seems to work. To the doctor, Mr. Saliba, to Nathan, to my council colleagues, Deputy Mayor Peter Harrell, to Councillor Fiona McNaught, Councillor Matthew Haar, Councillor Zelli, and to all the other distinguished guests. To Michael, you and your amazing team at the Chamber of Commerce here, hard-working, loud voices, and bringing people together in such a warm and welcoming atmosphere as always. So thank you, Michael, and thank you to the whole board for what you guys all do. Give them a round of applause. I also want to acknowledge wonderful supporters of Liverpool, of the community, who work day in and day out, and that is to Greg and the team at the Liverpool Catholic Club. The board is here today. The board is a hard-working board who always is contributing to different community causes every single day, building this amazing club that started off as a little shed at the end of nowhere into an amazing facility that's serving the community. So yesterday we were here. They were sponsors of the Seniors Ball, the hard-working Australians, the hard-working Liverpudlians who've built our city, but the support that you guys do for them and for the community is always greatly appreciated. So please give the Catholic Club a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, how exciting is it? How exciting is it? This is the place to do business. This is the place where finally something that we have been working on as for different parts of the community, people before us, for around 50 years now, that finally this airport is finally opening. It's flying. It's happening. It is real. And you as a Chamber of Commerce deserve a lot of credit for that, because the constant voice that has been happening for many, many, many years, since the days of the late Harry Hunt, the amazing previous president, who was strongly advocating to get this airport built. A voice when politicians were too scared. It was Harry, it was the Chamber, who was always going out there and saying, we need this here. We need this piece of infrastructure here. The Chamber and Harry saw the growth. They saw the opportunity. They saw the need. This area is growing, and it's growing, but it needs the jobs. As Kelly mentioned, we have a jobs deficit. You cannot just bring people out to this area, chop up a farmland, put houses on it, and say that's it. No, governments have a responsibility. They have a responsibility to create great communities and provide a great quality of life. And a great quality of life means having a good economy where you as business people can go out there and live your dreams and build a business and live your passion every day and make money and build success and build wealth for you and your families. And that's exactly what this airport is doing for our community. There is no better place to invest in Australia, dare I say in the South Pacific, than right here in Western Sydney and right here in Liverpool. We have seen, since this airport has been invested, over $30 billion invested into this area. And I wanted to take you back for a moment, because as we are going on a journey, we also need to reflect back on what we have been doing for the last 15 years. Just think about a moment the change that has happened in Liverpool and Western Sydney as a whole, and Sydney, can I say, as a whole as well, over the last 15 years. 15 years ago, we never had a metro train. It never existed, right? Until Barry went out there and said, he goes, let's build, him and Gladys said, let's go out there and build the Northwest Metro. We didn't have really any new exciting stadiums. Now Parramatta has stadiums. Liverpool Hospital, $1 billion invested into it. We never had a hotel in Liverpool until the Catholic Club built not one hotel here, but 2 hotels here. We never had the Inglis Hotel, right? Yes. And someone say, yes, go the Inglis. Yes, you got Belinda? No one would have ever thought that you'd have the most expensive horses in the world and people flying from all over the world coming to Warwick Farm to buy horses. Right? We never had the Moorebank Intermodal, a multi-billion-dollar investment. We never had any universities here. Now we have 2, with more coming along. We never had the Ingham Institute, but in 2012, it was opened up. We never had the West Connects project. I don't know about you, but when I drive in Sydney, I have no idea where I'm going these days. I just go into some sort of tunnel, and I end up usually in Drummoyne where I don't want to go. Right? I'm sure that's happened to many of us here. But we never had that until Mike Baird went out there and leased, we never sold them, in lease, of course, 99 years, leased the poles and wires to build that infrastructure. There has been transformations that have been happening, and we have this new international airport. I'll take you back to, it was April 2014 when the then Prime Minister Tony Abbott came to Liverpool Council into our building, and the Premier kind of lost his job on that day, Barry O'Farrell, but let's forget about that for a moment. But he made the announcement that the airport is going to be built. It was historic. April 15th. We, from our point of view, we said we will support the airport, but on one condition. And that condition was you must build the infrastructure for the community that this community deserves. Because without infrastructure, we're going to be stuck in traffic. Without infrastructure, we were not going to be able to go out there and have time to spend with our families, like we see now on the M5. Imagine now when you drive down the M5, which, by the way, back in those days was only 2 lanes, and now we have the M12 with its 3rd lane. But that back-to-back traffic that we see in the morning, and when you go here, 6 o'clock in the morning, I think I went to the gym the other day, first time in a while, as you can tell, but people already on the M5, back-to-back. Parking lot already. So we needed this infrastructure, and thankfully in those days we were able to get a $5 billion investment in the Northern Road, in Bringelly Road. I think it was the Elizabeth Drive or the M12 at that time. So these are the things that in the last 15 years have been gone out there and built, as well as the hopefully very soon Southwest Metro that is going to be opening up very, very soon. I point these out because it shows about what we need to be actually looking at in the future. But if I tell you this, if you go out there and say, well, what other area in Australia has had that level of infrastructure? There's not many other places at all. And no one would have ever thought this would happen in Liverpool. And I say this to encourage you because we want you to continue to invest and to be able to grow your business. But look at it. What better place that on October 25th, when the first flights land, that Liverpool is the place that's going to be welcoming, the front door to people from around the world. And I say what a great place, because you can have all this infrastructure, you can have all these things, but it means nothing if you don't have the people. And when you look at Liverpool, the warmth that we have as a community amongst each other is so important. And when we welcoming people is a very big responsibility. It sets the tone, the smile, the feeling that people get. We want people when they land in this airport, when they go to your businesses, they meet you, whether it's your employees or whoever you are or whatever they're doing, to feel like they're welcome. And I think this place is a great place for it, because when you come to Liverpool, one thing that I believe it represents more than anything else, this is the real Australia. This is where we have gathered from all over the world. Our parents came here with nothing. They worked their backsides off, and now we've been able to benefit from that. We have the opportunity. We have this place where no matter what you want, your dreams can actually happen. But just imagine this, right? This is the place where, whether you go to a mosque on a Friday, a synagogue on a Saturday, a church on a Sunday, or you spend the rest of your week meditating in your temple and your mandi, this is what Liverpool is about. It is the whole world. So when the world comes to Liverpool, they're going to be able to feel very, very welcome here. And it's a big responsibility, and we should never forget it. I've got to say that one of the best things about being the mayor in my job is citizenship ceremonies. Because we see people who've come from all over the world, once again as migrants, right, that are so proud to be Australian, that believe in the Australian dream of fair go. They believe in the Australian principle of mateship, because this is what it's about. And contrary to people's belief, and this hopefully what people see is, when you get that citizenship certificate, when you take that pledge to be an Australian, there is no economy class, there is no business class. We are all equal. There is only one class. And if you're Australian, you are first class. That's what it means to be an Australian. And we need to celebrate that. We need to show people, and when people come to Liverpool, that's ultimately what they are going to see. I have a request to ask of you. That as you've seen what's happened in the last 15 years, as I laid out, that for our future to continue to prosper, for us to deal with not only the 5,000 people a year who move into Liverpool, But the 20,000 people a year who move into southwest Sydney, let alone the massive amounts of businesses that are being built here. We are now announcing factories that their investment value is $1 billion. That's how big the Aldi factory is down out here near the airport. Or the Woolworths who built their factory, which is like $1 billion. So not only is there residential growth and population growth, but there is also massive economic and business growth. And that needs infrastructure. As a politician, what I ask of you is when you see one of us going around the place, remember that you are actually our bosses, that we work for you. And like any one of your employees, you've got to hold us to account. You have to ask us, what have we done for you guys? Right? What have we been able to do? Do we want words or do we want to see more than infrastructure? And we need to make sure that we get our metros into this area, that we get roads that are being built for the future. Because if not, our economy stalls and our businesses struggle. So hold the politicians to account, move away from the fluff. And if you've, anyone remember Eddie Murphy, Raw? You guys watch that? And yes. Remember what he said? You know, you have to ask him, what have you done for, what is it, Eddie, what have you done for me lately? Remember that line? Ask your politicians that, because for Liverpool to prosper and for our businesses to reach our full potential, we've got to make sure that we get all that infrastructure for this area. And also, there is also a big fight. Like Harry and the Chamber of Commerce, like your predecessors before you and the boards before you, went out there and fought for a better Liverpool, went out there and said, we want an airport out here, when people said it's crazy, it's going to be noise and all this sort of stuff. Go out there and fight like we did for the airport. Fight to make sure that we have the opportunity and the fair go that our parents we benefit from. Whether it's about making sure that we work hard and be able to own and buy a property and buy an investment property, negative gear it, and maybe buy another one to make sure that we don't rely on the patrons when we go there. We've got to make sure that we go out there and fight for that. We've got to make sure that when we go out, we're having our business, that we want to grow our business. We don't want to have to worry about, damn, we're going to have to go pay more payroll tax. We want to create jobs. We want to make sure that in our businesses that we can grow. We want to make sure that if we have a petrol station, that we can set our prices for a petrol station, that rather than if we don't know what we're going to pay for our petrol, how can we set our petrol prices? We need that freedom to be able to grow our businesses. And that freedom, that deregulation is what's vital, is what made Australia what it is. And I want to see Liverpool and all of you to be that voice and to fight to make sure that our kids get the same opportunity that this country gave us. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We hope you enjoy your night, and we look forward to seeing you all at the airport very soon. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that was so inspiring. Thank you so much, Ned. I'm going to accept that challenge. I think everyone in this room that runs a business, let's get really present to the fact that all of our leaders have to be held to account. And that we do have to do exactly what Ned said, which is fight for what we believe we should have in Liverpool to be able to contribute to our families and to our economies and to our communities. So let's all take that on. And as we get our main serve, which are coming out right now, thanks again to the Liverpool Catholic Club staff, let's continue those conversations. There is so much passion in this room, and I know good things can happen just right at your tables when you're talking about what you can do from tomorrow onwards to really look at how you're going to build your businesses and build your communities, grow this region of southwest Sydney. So please continue the conversations, and our mains will be served, and we'll be back with our business awards. Thank you.